Okay.
So I guess we are live now.
Okay.
Yes, I'm getting messages. People are asking where is the video. Um, Everyone is ready to go. Yes, good morning, Facebook. Thank you so much for joining. Just give us 2 minutes so that I can share this video and you can have access to it. Welcome to the Civilized Presence. You're in the right place. So just give us 2 minutes. I can see the video coming up and I am so excited. I don't know about you, but I'm so excited about this session today. Okay, so I just have to put this on my guests page and we can get things rolling from here. Good morning. Come on in. Let me know where you're joining from. Okay. I think there's some form of security on your page, but that's okay.
Same here. Really?
That's okay. I put it on Acho's page, so I think that's fine because a lot of people might be.
My page too. My page isn't coming up.
I wasn't able to share the video there. I'm going to try one more time. Just give us a minute. Let me try again.
I can then open up the security.
Yes, it is not coming up. It is not coming up. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We just get things going. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. Welcome. Hello, good morning. Good morning, thank you. We're just about to get this started. Come on in and let me know where you're joining us from. I am so excited this morning about the topic of today. Welcome. Let me know where you're joining from. Is it your very first time? Come on in and just say hello and indicate where you're coming from. You are in the Civilized Presence. We're here every Mondays and Fridays at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. And the Civilized Presence is an online TV session where lives are changed, where people discover their self, purpose, and voice, and of course, learn social skills to thrive in the real world. If you want to become a change maker, you are in the right place. Welcome. Thank you. My name is Louisa Akaiso. And of course, I'm going to be your host for today. And welcome, Esther. Welcome, Sharon. Welcome, Jose. Welcome, Makini. It's so good to have you. Janet, it's great to see you. Melissa, it's great to see you. Thank you so much. This is a Civilized Presence. So you might be asking, what does she do? I work confidently with leaders and professionals that place great importance in themselves and their reputation. And of course, that's going to be you this morning because you made out time to be here. We are so honored that you responded to the post, to the flyer. I am so honored. Thank you, and thank you again. I'm not sure how you saw the video. Are you joining from my other page? Are you joining from Facebook, from Instagram? Are you going to be seeing this on YouTube? Welcome. Are you here on replay? I appreciate you making out time to be here. Now, today is session number 117, and welcome. David, it's good to have you here from Virginia. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Esther, it's good to have you. Baller, it's good to have you. Banger, it's good to have you. Thank you for coming in from Nigeria. Thank you, guys. Just come on in and let us know exactly where you're joining us from. You can just put in your country. I want to know how many countries are in the house, and welcome, Ifoma. It's good to have you in the house. The main goal of this Facebook series is really to help restore civility in our society. And I've started this from last year, April. I haven't been doing this alone. I've been working with great experts and leaders and professionals from different parts of the world, really working on how to break down the concept of civility into tiny bits, just to show you how easy but important it is for you to be civil. And welcome, Anna, it's great to have you. Welcome, Akin Rapal, it's great to have you in the house. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone who's just making out time. I can see a lot of people coming in. If I haven't called your name, it's because you're not on my personal page. So come on in to my personal page so that I can give you a shout out because you're a VIP. So thank you for making out time to be here. Now, some of you might be struggling with the concept of civility, and I'm going to share one with you, which I love very much, and that's from Dr. P.F. Funny. That states that being civil means being constantly aware of others and weaving restraint, respect, and consideration into the very fabric of awareness. So civility is a form of goodness. Yes, Anna says being civil is so important. Absolutely. It is gracious goodness. Civility is being responsible for your actions, the why and the how. Civility is really you accepting to apologize earnestly if you have to. Refrain from idle complaints. A good way to go about is thinking about the golden rule: treat others the way that you want to be treated. Sister Dulcie, it's great to have you in the house. Thank you so much. So civility, if there's something that I want you to take away from this session, is that civility is focused on positive people's treatment. If you've been hanging out with me, I always share that it's simple things like beginning with please and thank you, or even share a compliment, just like I'm going to do that this morning to my guest that Stephanie, you look amazing. And thank you so much for making out
Thank you
time
so much for
to
having
be
me
here. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much for having me
So
here.
I'm going to give you guys an example. You know, I can teach you how to say sorry. Okay. I can teach a child how to say sorry. And you know what? Sorry can actually be a weapon if it's not properly explained, because sometimes children might do the worst things and just throw the sorry at you because they know that as soon as they say sorry, you're going to let them go. But in civility, is something different, because in civility, we teach you the how and the why. And, you know, you should be saying sorry, why it is so important for you to apologize. So when you become civil, you're able to go around the world with an impression, you know, that you cannot do it like you would want to, or behave in a careless manner. You begin to think about the impact of your actions on the other person. And of course, when you think about that, when you put yourself on the other side of the table, like if I was the one receiving this treatment, how would I feel? Right there, the light bulb comes on. And of course, so you realize that, you know, it is so important for you to treat others like the way you want to be treated. It is so important. And so, you know, today, I don't know how many of you have seen the post for today, but the title for today is Sexual Victimization and Abuse. Yes, the elephant is still in the room. And this is why we're right here, ready to crush the elephant down. And I'm not going to be doing this alone. I'm going to be working with an expert all the way from Nigeria, West Africa, who is going to be sharing contents with me, because she's on the field on an everyday doing work with families, with children, with adults who are challenged and have become victims of this huge elephant in the room. A lot of us do not want to speak about it, but there's, you know, we've gotten to the stage that things are getting worse by the day, and we have to speak about it. So let me just introduce my guest to you, because you might be wondering who is the beautiful lady on the screen. Her name is Stephanie Yinkere, and Stephanie is a certified cognitive behavioral therapy practitioner. She is a child abuse prevention trainer and mental wellness advocate that helps individuals overcome adversity through behavioral correction and emotional intelligence. And of course, recently, she received an award of special commendation for her selfless service towards sensitizing students about child abuse from RSFAYD. She is the CEO of Whimsy ANC Services, a service-based organization that is into consulting and advocacy services with several years of experience while working for and with different firms. This increased her passion to serve as a consultant and advocate, motivational speaker, and event management facilitator. Stephanie is also the founder of or the executive director of Whimsy Cares, an advocacy center for child's safety, family behavioral, emotional, and mental wellness, whose goal is to create awareness on the dangers of all forms of child abuse and helping survivors and families find resources while seeking protection through sensitization, counseling, and therapy. So guys, I am so excited, and please join me to welcome Stephanie Yinkere to the house. Stephanie, I'm so excited that you're here. Please, can you take a moment to say hello to the audience?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Facebook friends and family. Welcome to today's, it's going to be an interactive and exciting moment. Please,
Absolutely.
we're here to crush them all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. We're so excited that you're here. And guys, do me a favor. Now, 3 things you're going to do for me. Give me a thumbs up, give me hearts, and please share this video on your page. Invite everyone. Invite your friends, your family, and your neighbors, and of course, your enemies too. Everyone has to be part of this conversation. This is so important. This is something that affects all of us. So don't sit there saying, Louisa, I don't have a child. I don't care about that. You have once been a child, okay? And I'm just about to read the numbers to you. This is a very sensitive topic. So I'm going to try as much as possible to be civil, but I'm going to be extremely firm today. So please forgive me when I begin to be really harsh, because this topic is one that we have to be firm about. We cannot play about this topic. We've been playing for so many years and things are just going really bad. So let me share with you some of the numbers that are so concerning. And these are just a few of the numbers. 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually abused before they turn 18 years. 34% of people who are sexually abused a child are usually family members. 12.3% of women were age 10 or younger at the time of their first rape stroke victimization. And 30% of women were between the ages of 11 and 17. 27.8% of men were age 10 or younger at the time of their first rape and victimization. And 96% of people who sexually abuse children are male. And of course, 76.8% of people who sexually abuse children are adults. 91% of the victims of rape and sexual assault are female. I thought that really broke my heart. And 9% are male. So, ladies and gentlemen, you will agree with me that this is not something we can play with this morning. Whether you agree with me or not, but before we end the session, we will all, of course, be on the same page. Whether it's happened to you personally or not, it's happened to somebody next to you. Sexual abuse has become our neighbors. Sexual abuse has become our sisters and our brothers, and I explain why. Because it's in our homes. It's in our families. We've been running away from this big topic for so long. We cannot run anymore. The numbers are concerning. The rise, every single day, the numbers increase. So there are a lot of people who are survivors of sexual abuse or physical trauma or violence or whatever kind of abuse that's conducted sexually. And so we want people to be able to talk more about it. And this is why I had to go all the way to bring the expert in the house to share with you not just the figures, but on an everyday basis, her experiences, the work that she does, what works. Because we're not just about giving you the figures, but we have to talk about what works, the solution. How can we find a solution? What steps can we take that is going to help us to be able to eradicate this huge epidemic that is, it's not going to happen in one day, but at least we want to see the figures begin to go down. Because as the figures increase, for example, 91% of victims of rape and sexual assault are female. So are you saying that just 9% have been saved? How many of the 9% do you really know? So you can imagine that more people than you could ever have imagined in your life have been abused. They're just not talking about it. It's not that it's not happening, but they haven't been able to speak about it. They're not strong enough to speak about it. They're not bold enough, sometimes because of religion, sometimes because of culture, sometimes because of the fear of being judged, sometimes because of, shame and all of that, they do not want to speak about it. But the problem is that if we do not talk about it, we cannot save the younger generation. I mean, I want you guys to think in this way today. Think about your own child being abused. So don't sit there and say, Louisa, my child hasn't been abused yet. It just hasn't happened yet. And I want to believe that in totality that she's not been abused, because sometimes kids keep these things away from us parents because they know that they cannot tell you. They know you're going to get upset. They want to save their own sanity. And a lot of times the world is so crazy and so toxic that every day we hear about, people committing suicide and murder and depression and mental health. These are some of the things that leads to that. Because sometimes they have experienced this. They are not able to speak about it. They are the fear of the unknown, the fear of being judged, the fear of the labels. And so they suck it in, and this thing begins to eat them up, and it leads to depression, it leads to mental health. And you never really know the cause of the mental health sometimes. We just sit down and say, oh, you know what, this child of mine is not behaving properly, has this problem, but you never really know what triggered it. So guys, I want this session to be extremely interactive. Do me a favor. I would love it to be extremely interactive. So come on in with your questions. Come on in and let us know where you're joining us from. Let us know what has been your experience. What has been your concern? Have you had somebody around you go through this? And if you want to be able to help people and you want to get some form of education, come on in and have a chat with us. So how this works, Stephanie, really is to get started with the questions.
Yeah.
We begin the conversation, and of course, we'll take it from there. So my very first question for you would be, what does civility mean to you? What is civility? What is manners? What is etiquette? Whether it's the golden rule, what does that even mean to you? Over to you.
Civility, like you said earlier on, it has to do with manners and right etiquette and all that. It's difficult, especially in this present time and education. The kids, they've lost it. A lot of children don't have manners. You see them. They don't get to talk to you. They don't even greet you. No simple manner of good morning in the morning. Hello, how are you doing? They don't smile. They're always cranky. They're grumpy. They're always having on issues or the order. And I really don't blame them because I think it has to do with upbringing at home. So to me, as regards civility in my line of field, I think it has to do with a lot of emotional trauma over time. A lot of emotional trauma over time. And it happens in the home. Like we had a party a while ago, like sometime within the weekend. And then I talked to the parents there about parenting styles and all that. And I tried to explain to them, I know how tedious it is in this part of our country. And it was difficult for a lot of us to have the normal lifestyle and normal things we have with the children that we all knew how we grew up, and we don't want them to suffer. So we go the extra mile, neglecting them, leaving them to the mates and all that. So it causes a lot of uprising in the home. The children tend to be left unattended to by parents, and then they lose a lot of their home training and the manners and all that. So to me, civility, it's key in every aspect. It's key in everything that we all do. It's key in our daily lifestyle. That's all I'll have to say.
Thank you so much. And I love that. That is very important. So We cannot stay away from being civil anymore. And I'm just going to go back to the audience. Welcome, my sister Ella. It's good to have you in the house. Thank you so much. She does a lot of work with families as well. Welcome, Wenger. It's good to have you. That's Wenger number 2 from Nigeria. Welcome, Timmy. It's good to have you in the house. Welcome, Ambassador Jumer. It's good to have you in the house. And the conversation this morning, guys, is sexual victimization and abuse. So come on in and give us your questions, your concerns, share with us, and please do us a favor. Post this video on your page, share it in the group, put it on your personal page. Let's be part of what is happening, this national, this world epidemic, because this is eating us. The elephant is still in the room. And guys, just think about the elephant as this huge thing. That's what's happening with sexual victimization and abuse. I don't know what time you joined us, but I shared with you the numbers. And I think the scariest thing talked about how 91% of victims of rape and sexual assault are female. I think that's very concerning, because even if you don't have a daughter, you have a sister, you have a mom. Okay, so think about that. So I don't want you, because you haven't probably personally experienced or you're not aware yet, because that's always a problem. We think about it like, oh, I think my family is the best family in the world. The sexual abuse has not happened here. Well, they might not have told you about it. They just sucked it in. They're dying from inside. And so this is why we brought on this topic, because we want people to talk openly. And the expert is in the house, so of course, bring your questions. She's happy to work with you and answer the questions. So this is going to take me to my next question, Stephanie. First of all, I want to say thank you for the work that you do. You are amazing. It's a lot of work, especially in a time like this. I know there's been so much going on, whether it's in Africa, in this area of sexual abuse lately. But, let's first of all visit the problem. Can you share with us what are some of the real life experiences that you've had with children who have been victims, with families? What are some of those things that you've experienced personally working with them? Can you share a story with us and we begin the conversation from there? Over to you.
So over time, I first started the NGO stuff with an NGO of mine with a group of ladies. We used to go to schools every day to talk to children about sexual abuse, about rape and other forms of abuse. And the questions being thrown to us were overwhelming. Sometimes we'll come back home and a lot of us are weeping and we're in disbelief. And schools, children you think that are doing very well, it's not about you're coming from a well-to-do family, it's coming from the poor. Those children, they have so much that they're going to say. Like there's a case that the child wrote down after the sensitization and then creating the awareness. And then we ask questions, because we usually tell them to write their questions and their experiences on a piece of paper without their names on it, so they feel comfortable. Those kids, they don't open up to anyone, even the teachers, even their parents at home, but they can open up to strangers. They can't open up to strangers because of how welcoming it is. And that's one of the reasons why abusers get to them, because of a lot of them suffer from neglect, which is one of the major causes of abuse at home and everyone around. So once a child has anyone that is going to pay a little bit of attention to him or her, you see that child cling to that person. So whether it's good, if it's profitable, if it's harming and all that, the child doesn't want to know. The child clings to. They love to be cared for. They love to be taken care of. They love to be protected. So, and these abusers, they have a pattern and they have a method how they do this thing. So coming from where they are coming from, they show you all the love, they show them all the care and all that, and you find them, those kids, clinging to them, and it's terrible how the questions they were asking were some of them, even their parents, their dad abuses them, not just uncles, not just it's not just uncles anymore. Parents, the dad, and the mom is in the know. We had a question like that, and I think I shared it, and then the founder of our NGO shared it too. It was terrible. It was terrible. And they want to open up, but the problem is there's no, in this part of our country, there's no safe haven for them to go to. So you see them, if I tell you, where do you take me to? How do you handle this if I tell you? So if they open up to you, where do you take them to? Who handles their case? That's one of our biggest challenges we have here in this part of the country, especially, Lagos. I think Lagos have one or two places they have safe havens, but in Port Harcourt, where I reside, it is difficult for us to get a safe haven for them. So when they ask you those questions, you find out that it's challenging to answer, and then you see them give up, kind of, and then they retract their steps. And no, I'm just asking because of a friend. A friend of mine was the one that was abused, and all that. They never come to you like it is happening to them. It takes only a few of them to say so. And then there was one that had a child, and she takes a child to school, and she said she was abused by an uncle of hers, and she gave birth, and she still had to come back to school to teach. So it's terrible. It's terrible. You in your report is 34, but I think it's up to 60% of families, close families, relations that really abuses children. 60% of them are from families, and the trend lately are from fathers. I have a lot of them on my post. Fathers, 13 months. The last case which I just posted was 15 months old.
Oh no.
A year, 3 months. The dad raped him. The dad raped the child, the girl, and the mom knew and took the dad to reported to the police. The police now arrested them and released him on bail because he apologized and all that. They released him on bail. So they're now seeking, NGOs are now seeking for rearrest of his case. So it's not about the age, what age, nudity, or whatever the child does anymore. It's just the sick, perverted people around in the country and in the world in general. Abusers, they don't have any excuse. They don't have any reason not to rape. They don't have anything, and it's saddening.
Yes, absolutely. This is so, oh my goodness. I have a comment from the audience, from Ella. Ella says, when the statistics says will be raped, it's concerning to me. What authority do the survey organization have for making such bold declarations? I guess you know what? I agree with you, Sister Ella, but I think that they just have to make some kind of, you know, assumptions. I mean, depending on whatever numbers that they have, they can be kind enough to say will be, just so that you don't feel too bad. But we have noticed and seen that this is real. It's not will be, it's presently happening. And oh my God, thank you so much for sharing that. A 15-month-old baby being abused. True. Now, my question would be, you know, this sexual perpetrator, was he mentally ill? Like, is he mentally stable? Is there something, you know, why did he have to do this?
We all say, or people would generally say that they are not that.
Yeah, the network, we're losing her there for a minute. Let's see, our guest is trying to come back in. You're welcome to the Civilized Presence. For those of you who are just joining us, the topic of today is sexual victimization and abuse, and why we have to fight down the elephant in the room. So I'm just waiting for my guest to come back on. I know that. Yes, I can hear you now. Yes, we lost you for a moment.
Yeah. Sorry, I said. a lot of people, I doubt it, but some kind of perversion, and it depends on whatever reason they're doing it for, because of the economy, a lot of them have it's a because
Oh, we're losing you. We're losing you. It's not clear at all.
because it's sad for you to rip it to some of them are ritualists.
We're losing you. We're just trying to get you back. We're losing you.
That's all I can say. Yeah.
We're losing you.
Hello.
I'm not sure why, but the network
Hello.
is a little.
The net is terrible. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to go with that answer again? I think it's fine now.
Yes. Yes. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you now. Can you go back with that answer? You were talking about being perversive. Some of those.
Yes. A lot of people are mentally ill. They have not every mental illness is physical. The traits like madness or so to be able to term them as a mad person but over time, some of them being abused over time or being bullied over time, they mustn't really be sexually. They become tyrants themselves, and they become themselves, and then that could be one of the reasons they could be mentally ill, but not physically mental person like one that is mad or something, physically mad, that you see it and say, okay, this is a mad person. In That's how we in Nigeria we usually do. Oh, he's mad, so he must be in either the psychiatry or he walks around roaming around the streets like a mad person. But a lot of people are mentally ill, and I think one of the reasons why they do this is this sexual perversion is because they have mental illness, and it's most times it's over time, over a childhood trauma that they've had over time. That's one of the reasons why they do such. And the other reason is for their own selfish money ritual. So in this part of the country, they tell them to get some form of maybe semen of whatever from the child vagina, and you have to penetrate your child. You must. It's not killing anymore. You must rape the child, take the blood, bring it for money ritual and all that. So it depends. Different abusers have their different reasons for abusing children. Some of them are just a perversion of theirs, an addiction of theirs, something they've been doing over time. But they all have childhood trauma and some illness here.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. And we have a comment from the audience, from Eller. Says the African community is very much into uncles and aunties, and of course, leave their children vulnerable. We must protect our children. You need to know who
True.
you leave your kids with. And another comment, there's a young family in Cameroon whose 8-year-old daughter was raped and killed 2 weeks ago by her father's brother, her uncle. Her mother is turned to pieces as we speak. This is so disheartening, guys, that all of this is happening. Now, let us talk about the solution, because we have to deal with the solution. We have to deal with the how. How can we help with this? And welcome, Tony. It's great to have you. Welcome, Trent. It's great to have you. My sister Eileen, thank you so much for being here. It's so good to have you all. It's a civilized presence. You are in the right place at the right time. The topic for today is sexual victimization and abuse. So guys, we're really trying to get the message out there, because of course we have the expert in the house. I had to bring in the expert because it's okay to just read numbers on the internet. But what is reality is when you're able to work with somebody who on a daily basis deals with these issues, deals with true life experiences, works with families, works with children who are still, being victimized. So let's discuss about solution, Stephanie. I think that, we have to get families to a place where we can talk more about
Yeah. True.
because a lot of families refuse to speak about this.
True.
So I have seen younger kids, I've seen teenagers start up something like their periods and have no idea how to handle it. So if a mother is not even able to speak to her young child about the periods, how is she going to be able to talk about sexual victimization? So
Yeah.
many things we're still not talking to them about it.
About, yeah. True.
Yes. So we want the parents to be very much open. Begin the conversation, maybe at the dinner table, and ask them, what is your experiences? When they begin to grow, tell them about what part of their bodies should not be played with. Talk to them. Talk to them about those things that you're uncomfortable about mentioning. Talk to them about it. We cannot be uncomfortable anymore. We have to be open. Because if you do not talk to your child about it, she gets abused, first of all, maybe from her fellow student, as she thinks is a norm, because she just feels like, oh, this boy just did this and touched me inappropriately, but it's okay because he's a young boy. And she's going to grow up thinking in that way that, he just touched me. That wasn't bad. I don't think I should be talking about it. Ambassador Jaja, it's great to have you. Joanne, it's great to have you here. Thank you so much. The topic of today is sexual victimization and abuse. So how can what would be back to the audience and just share with the audience, what are ways that you think that people can begin this conversation about how can they talk to their young girls, talk to their young boys? Over to you, Stephanie.
Okay, so it's usually advised that you have a one-on-one conversation with your child, regardless of who boys are being raped. It's you having the conversation. We all at the age 2, when the child is aware, you start telling the child about your private. We have the age appropriate ways to talk to the child. At age 2, the child should know that the penis is his private part, the vagina is her private part, the boobs no one should touch. She should be mindful of who she gives kisses to. She shouldn't kiss, and that one way a child won't do that is when the parents don't do it to the child. So yeah, a lot of parents say, no, it's my child. I can kiss my child. I can show love to my child by kissing the child. But indirectly, you're making the child feel that's okay to kiss someone else. And abusers don't just come, they come with you a healthy hug and all that. And the child entertains that. And they know that, this child is very vulnerable. We can easily have access to this child. And then they call the names the way it's supposed to be. A lot of parents in this side of the country don't even want to call the child the names the way they are. They will tell you it's a private, don't allow anybody to touch your private part. They'll tell you don't allow anybody to touch you. But you're supposed to call the names the way they are, the penis, the vagina, the breast. Once you call them the right way and the child tells you, I don't touch my penis or my vagina, the abuser know that the child is enlightened. But yes, the abusers usually don't come to a child that is enlightened or to a parent that is enlightened. Once they know that the parents have had talks with the children, they find it difficult to come to that child because they'll say, you're too wise, you're already self-aware of whatever I'm going to tell you. But once they know the child is naive and they okay, the parents usually call it the PP or whatever the parents called it. And they come in and they touch that. That's the first form. And the child, because every child is curious, everything the child wants to know. So once the child sees probably the abuser touching it or touches himself or herself, because these abusers are not just not male alone. Females are. A lot of boys I've had talks with, grown-up men that have come from the case of we had recently about Bisolas coming up to say. I had a lot of messages from my inbox, and a lot of guys that have children now. They'll tell you, by my nanny, by my auntie, by my mom's sister, by my dad's sister at such age. And then she was touching my penis. She was making me have sexual oral sex with her and all that. So it's not it's a sad one that a lot of them are not aware of what their genitals are, the right names for that. But that notwithstanding, for parents to help their children, first of all, have the simple conversations with them. They all work. Yes, we all know that a lot of parents, both the mom and the dad, are always busy. But when they come, create time. You should have me time for them. Probably at the end of the day, how did your day go? What happened in school? A lot of this is happening in schools too, because most times the children spend more time in schools other than the house themselves. They spend lesser time at home than schools. And one thing's happen to them, they easily approach their friends, their peers. And most of these peers, either if the child has been abused or the child doesn't even know what it is, they give them wrong information based on whatever they've learned from whoever they've learned it from. I've had an experience of a girl telling another girl that you don't need to tell your mom that you started seeing your period. And I asked her why she wouldn't want her to tell. And because your mom would just tell you that once another man touches her, you get pregnant. But that's not true. The boy needs to use his penis and all that. And then she said, what's penis? And that's where the conversation started.
Wow, this is intense.
And then when I was teaching and she came and she met me and then when she met me and we're talking about it, she said, I didn't know that I can approach my mom because my mom doesn't listen. Most times when I come to her and say, Mom, I want to say this, before I open my mouth, she just, I'm tired, please go away. Or she's always busy on her phone and all that. So as parents, we need to create an enabling environment for our children to be able to approach us first and foremost, because it has to start from the home. Enlighten the children of whatever you need to tell them. What is happening? Let them be in the know. A lot of homes, they don't watch the news stations anymore. Yeah, we know that most of them are being propagated, that they promote propagandas, a lot of politics and all that, but they still have a healthy and educative channels, news channels that children can watch. And then you see this trend of abuse over the news, and you get to interact with the children, telling them what is really happening. But that doesn't promote everyday watching of TV. So they handle that's happening outside. I think that's one of the major, because a lot of
we're losing you there again. We're losing you there. Hello. And so, of course, we have a lot of
children that have been abused at teenage age. They've never had the talk with their parents.
Right.
They've never had the talk with their parents.
Thank you so much, Wumi. Thank you so much, Stephanie. It's so good for you to, I love all that you're sharing. So the big portion of all of this is really having a conversation with your children, guys. Oh my goodness. We cannot stress this enough. Nobody's going to do this for you. You have to make out time. You have to reduce the phone time. What are you using your time for? Are you spending time on social media or chitty chatting? And your child is dying in the home. Guys, we have to do something about this. And I'm just trying to bring our guest back. Hello, you are back. Okay, good. I'm so sorry. I know the network can be a bit fuzzy, but it's good to have you here.
Yes,
So
in this part of the country.
Yes, yes, I know. Our guest is all the way from Port Harcourt, so
Yeah.
the network, and I really appreciate you doing this with us today. So a lot of comments. Let me just read back to you. Ella, thank you so much. It says, God bless your program. If we can understand and embrace civility, we can ensure that we have a better environment to cohabit. That is so true. And another comment from Augusta. Welcome, Augusta. And she said, you are very correct about using the right words to identify the parts of the body. It is so important. Thank you so much. Another comment from Ella. It said, absolutely, we must create an environment that allows our children to speak to us freely about anything. Yes, your kids must be able to speak to you freely. Communication is so important. I cannot emphasize this enough. You know, if you've always been on that high card and you do not speak to your kids, as you go back from this session today, begin to talk to your children. Find out what's happening with them. Maybe they might not want to tell you that it happened to them. You can even begin by asking them, have you ever experienced? Have you watched somebody else go through it? Let the conversation begin. Or you even ask them, what do you know about sexual abuse? Have you heard that before? You know, I heard this so much in your schools. And, you know, do you have any case in your school? Have you heard that before? Did anybody complain about it? Did you ever see any student touching somebody else inappropriately? Begin the conversation, guys. The elephant is still standing here. We haven't brought him down. We have to do it together. Our children are dying. You know, it's so sad, you know, when I was preparing for this session, just seeing how many public figures and older people are, you know, are part of this. It's so sad. And even having some, you know, religious leaders do this. Parents, I'm going to warn you today. Do not leave your kids for anyone that you do not know. Do not leave your kids unattended to. I don't care if this person is a religious leader, is a pastor, is an imam, and you know, have different religions on the line. I don't know what the leaders are called. I don't care who they are. Do not leave your kids with them. They are also human. They are human. Something can come over them.
I think we should.
Someone could be a religious leader, but is mentally unstable.
Yeah, true.
Please
True.
do not trust your kids in the hands of those that you do not know. Please. This is, you know, how can we all work together really to, you know, to work on this? Do not just dump your kids.
A lot of mothers, a lot
of parents just go and dump their kids after school. Do you know what that family is about? Another comment from the audience. Sister Arlene says, that's true. So many parents want to be their child's friends instead of parents. And another comment said, we also must create a safe atmosphere at home for our kids to talk to us about anything. I totally agree with you. And welcome, Carolina. It's so great to have you here from Singapore. Thank you so much, all of you who are joining us from different parts of the world. I can see Singapore, I can see Malaysia, I can see London, UK, I can see Canada. Welcome, Helen from Canada. I can see Nigeria, I can see Ghana, I can see Kenya. If I haven't mentioned your country, please let me know, because I want you to be the civility ambassador. I want you to pass on this message. I'm not going to do it alone. We have got to work together. Please try to speak to families who are struggling. Sometimes parents are so busy, they're working, 2 jobs, 3 jobs. They don't have any time to be in the home, so they just neglect the children. Sometimes it's not that they really want to do that, but they cannot take care of the kids. They have to go to work, they have to pay the bills, and so they leave the kids.
They need to work.
But it's so painful, guys. I understand, I feel your pain that you were trying to go to do another job to make ends meet. But the elephant is in the room. You cannot go away for too long. You cannot. You cannot leave the kids unattended to, because kids that are being abused are going to, in return, begin to abuse others.
True.
They will go around with that pain. A lot of parents sometimes, I've had parents who commented and said, oh, my kids don't like talking to me. Talk to them. When you see your child too quiet, find out what the problem is. There is something that is making him go into his shell. There's something that is making her go into her shell. Try to have a conversation. This is so painful. Are we going to ruin all our leaders? Because we know that the younger people are the leaders of tomorrow. What happens if we ruined all the young people? Who is going to lead the world tomorrow? It is our responsibility. And this is why we share this every Mondays and Fridays, sometimes on Wednesdays for special sessions, on why it's so important for us to be civil. Because when you are civil, you become more responsible. You think about the other person. You treat others the way you want to be treated. You are concerned about your actions and how it's going to impact the person next to you. You are able to stretch out of your comfort zone to give a helping hand, even when it's not you directly, your daughter or your son. Civility has to be a lifestyle. It has to be a lifestyle. It doesn't matter whether it's your child or not. If you notice it happening around you, please say something. Please report to the authorities. Please speak to the parents. Do something. Don't sit there and say, Louisa, I don't talk to my neighbor. Are you going to be happy if your neighbor's child is abused and killed? Or you are like, I don't talk to this person. We're not friends. Who cares if you're friends? It's not about being friends. It's about the life of the child. Some of these people have been abused in exchange for gifts.
Yeah.
Are you having a conversation with your kids and finding out what are their needs? What are their needs? And even when you cannot provide their needs at that time, let them have an understanding that you're working towards providing for them. You don't want your kids to find solace in somebody else. Some cultures are very good at just shutting the kids up. I am of African descent, and I know it's so difficult to have a chat with a kid. Your child is trying to say something. It's like, keep quiet. Sure. She has something to say. So if you are one of those parents who never paid attention, I'm going to encourage you, beginning from today, go back to your kids and find out what is going on. Why are you quiet? How can I be a better parent? Ask them. What are you not happy with? Your children have something to say to you. You just have never asked. How can I be a better parent to you? What do you dislike about me? Have a conversation. Have a conversation. Open things up. Show them the numbers. I'm ready to share the numbers with you. Show them the numbers. This is happening every day. Get involved. Your kids are going to the games. Get involved. After school activity, get involved. Please. And we have another comment here. Augusta said, I'm so blessed to participate and be more enlightened. Thank you so much, Augusta. It's such a blessing that you're here. So we're just taking the end of the session, but I have one more question for you, Stephanie. And this question that I'm going to ask is, in terms of families, you know, a lot of times because of culture, many people are not able to say no to their family members when it has to do with the kids
With the kids, yeah.
because of a fear of being judged. And so they might know that they have a crazy cousin, a crazy brother, a crazy
Yeah.
uncle, but they're
True.
not able to say no. So, what are ways that parents, because I want people to go away with practical steps,
Yeah.
actionable steps. What are ways that you think they can, you know, they can speak to their family? How can they speak to their families and just get them to know that, you
Yeah.
know what, I used to
There's
drop Sarah here, but you know, Sarah is not going to be able to come back for now. Sarah is going to be at home busy doing her work. How can they begin to do that? Because we do not want to ask them to do something that's going to bring chaos in the home, because I know how this can be when you look at culture. So, how can they address that uncle? How can they address that religious leader
yeah.
who they trusted so much with their daughter? How can they address that? Over to you,
Okay.
Steph.
So, first and foremost, you, like you said, the first time the child comes to complain to you is the first time and the only time the child might be able to open up to you, especially when they are bothered by this abuse and all that. So, when that has already happened and you're, as a parent, you stick by them and you show them support, the best thing you have to do is just go to the family, because we've been trying to cut corners over the years, and it's causing a lot of chaos in the family and in the world at large. So it's, if you're from probably a polygamous home, or you're in a home that your families are around and you know that there's an abuser there, I don't think and I don't feel it is right for you to just be nice to them because you don't want to hurt them. First and foremost, a lot of them have narcissistic tendency. To them, they think they are doing much better. They think every other person doesn't, especially if that uncle or auntie is someone that is very influential, or the home is a well comfortable home for your children to be in. You have to learn to build boundaries. First and foremost, that's the number one key. Build boundaries for yourself and build boundaries for your children, and let them know that my child is not comfortable around you for these reasons. We have to learn to speak up. Speak up means it's not when it's okay. It's once you speak up, it's going to hurt a lot of people, and that's what a lot of this speaking up against rape and sexual assault is doing now. A lot of controversy because of it. Once you speak up, and then especially if the child tells you, and you go and you tell your cousins or your whatever family member that is, my child is not comfortable, build that boundary. Let the child know that my mommy and my daddy has her back, believes me and sticks with me. You don't need any, there's nothing, no formal, no mising, no sympathetic way of doing it. Build the boundary. That is key. And then make sure that uncle, that auntie, that niece, that cousin get help.
Mm, mm. Thank you
They
so much.
must get help.
Thank you and welcome, Tammy. It's good to have you. Thank you so much, Nalisa. It's good to have you. Guys, we have been having a conversation, and the topic of today is sexual victimization and abuse. Another comment from the audience from Ella. One of the best things to do is to educate your child. Fathers should stop carrying their daughters on their laps, and teach them never to sit on their uncle's or grandpa or anybody's lap. Let them always sit on a chair. I really love that. I really love that, Ella. That is such
Yes,
a point.
true.
Welcome, Jabber. It's good to have you. I really love that. That is such a great point. and because that's where things begin from. The child gets so comfortable and
Stable. That I
not
talked about.
knowing. Yes, they get so comfortable and do not realize that this uncle is mentally unstable. And welcome, Tammy says, educate, empower, and elevate. Thank you so much. The conversation today is sexual victimization and abuse. And guys, I want you to know that there are programs, there are trainings to help parents. We have sessions to help parents who are struggling with this. If you have this already happening in your home, we have programs, for you to support the parents. Because I know that if it's never happened to you before and it's just showing up, sometimes you're not able to deal with it. And so I thank you to everyone. Akin Rapal, thank you so much. It's good to have you. Great insights. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Eileen. Thank you, all of you. And, it's just one more question. Now, how are the authorities reacting to this? I want to know. Are there anything put in place that is going to help? Because if there is not any form of, whether I don't really say punishment, but a way forward, then victims might feel like it's meaningless.
Meaningless, yeah. True.
So how are the authorities reacting? Over to you.
Kudos to a lot of social media advocates, because you don't really need to go to the field to be able to speak about it. A lot of trendy posts on it, and then they are listening. And I think I made a post of the governor's wife writing to the IGP and then SGF about trying to have a special section in the police force that will handle rape cases and sexual assault cases. And we hope it's not just lip service that they implement those. I think a lot of the force and the military and the law is really getting into it now. Likewise, back then in the days, it wasn't where they weren't well into it, and there was not much awareness, and they weren't into it as the way they are now. And I would say kudos to FIDA, the International Lawyers of International Federation of Female Lawyers. They're really
We kind of lost you there. But she's just talking about organizations that can help in that part of the world. International Federation of Female Lawyers are helping a lot, working with victims, working with families. And of course, another comment from Tammy says, empower the children to use their powerful voice and put all the systems in place. And of course, prevention is always key. Thank you so much, all of you, for making out time to be here. I have to apologize. The network, our expert is coming all the way from Africa. Of course, the network can be a bit fuzzy. But guys, I have really, really enjoyed this session. I don't know about you, but I have learned so much from our guest today on sexual victimization and abuse. So are you, a classroom teacher, for example? Are you a survivor of sexual abuse? Are you a caregiver? Are you a parent? What are you doing to support and eliminate this elephant, this epidemic that is all over the world, that is killing us? We're dying of it. What are you doing to help? Yes, welcome back. I'm so sorry. You were gonna finish up your. That's okay. You were just gonna finish up something there while we're closing.
Yes, I think kudos to the social media. They are really making the law enforcement officers and various and on their tools, trying to make sure that everything, because it's damaging most of the time when it comes from the NGOs to work on that. They're trying, but I know they will do better. So they will. There are laws that are being implemented now and we hope it really works in this part of our country.
Perfect. Thank you. And of course, Stephanie, I cannot thank you enough for the work that you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. And guys, if you want to connect with Stephanie, she's right here on social media. On Facebook, it's Stephanie Yinkere. She's on Instagram, and she does a lot of work. She has a lot of great postings every single day, and you would see the work that she's doing. You get to feel what she feels on a daily basis. So please follow her on social media and just be part of the conversation, guys. I am so excited that we were able to get this done. Thank you so much. Thank you. Because I've been receiving.
I hope when next we have it, that there's better network, because there's a lot to be said, but it's so unfortunate that the network is really, really bad.
Fine. We just loved you, and you loved your message. You were amazing.
Thank you so much.
Guys, I have been receiving tons of messages, and for all of you who had sent me emails and messages asking for this topic, here it is. And thank you for speaking back to me, because these sessions are for you. And so I always ask, what would you want to learn? So send me an email, louisa@thecivilityacademy.com. Let me know what you want to learn. What topics are bothering you? What would you like us to share? And do you think that you're doing something amazing and I haven't, recognized that yet? Please do not hesitate to send me an email, louisa@thecivilityacademy.com, and I would love to bring you onto our sessions and share your contents with other people. So thank you so much for being here to the end of the session. I really appreciate you all. Of course, I hate to let you go, but I have to. And I will see you again Monday at 8 a.m. Eastern time, all of you. So just before we go, I know I have been talking about the book study. We're going to get started. I have been working a lot in the classrooms lately, so I didn't want to get started with the book study, and we're not finishing it. So please do me a favor and welcome Sibyl. That's my JMT family. The John Maxwell family is here. I'm so honored that you made up time to be here. Thank you so much. And so Tammy says, I use this video in the classroom. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you. Thank you. She shared some content with us. Tammy is such a great expert that works with children in Canada. It's always such an honor to have you in the house. And Ella has a comment. Thank you so much, to our awesome guests. And let God continue to strengthen you and your team in Jesus' name. Thank you. That prayer was so much needed, Ella. Thank you. So guys, please try to grab your copy of the Civilized Leader so that you can follow on as we do the book study. Some of us have already gotten their copies. If you haven't gotten yours yet, for those who have gotten theirs, thank you. If you haven't gotten yours yet, please try to grab it on Amazon because we'll be doing the book study, the lunch hour sessions, and really the book study is going to be in a special group. So you would have to have your books to be able to follow along. It's on Amazon. If you type in my name, it's Louisa Akaiso, the Civilized Leader. It's right there on Amazon. And of course, if you work with children and you enjoy poems, we have Poetic Civility. And what we're able to do here is teaching civility through poems. I remember while growing up, we always loved poems. Our parents always shared poems with us, or our teachers, and we thought it was such an easy way for kids to be able to understand civility. So you might want to get this. The Poetic Civility is a great resource. And so guys, thank you. I know we're a little over time, but of course the message was so important. And I want to thank you and congratulate you for being an amazing audience. Thank you, thank you, thank you again. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you. Thank you. And Stephanie, I want you to know everyone loves you. Everyone is sharing their hearts, their loves. So much content. And we really appreciate you. And we hope to see you very soon because Stephanie does a lot of work with mental health. And the Mental Health Awareness Month is coming soon. So you're going to see Stephanie again here. So guys, I'm going to let you go and have yourself a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you, Stephanie, again. Thank you.
Bye.